This week it's the turn of Peugeot's 308 Premium Hatch. This look, I think, is not going to appeal to everybody, but it certainly appeals to me. I think it's just gorgeous. It's got the new Peugeot symbol, the new Peugeot lion, this sort of Starfieldy grille. And these LED headlights, they're matrix, and the high beam and matrix function can be turned off, so you can use them manually if you want to. I don't know why you would, they work absolutely brilliantly. The daytime running light, just a beautiful feature, and you can see this coming a mile off. The car locks and unlocks as you approach or depart, and from the side looks like just about every other hatch on the road, though the sunroof goes from here all the way to here. Frankly, I could do with optioning that sunroof out and save myself a couple of grand. This car is just under $49,000 plus on roads. And I love the way the light falls on those subtle lines. There are lines here you probably wouldn't notice any other time. Headlights and tail lights are LED, and it gives them scope to make some fantastic lighting features. And at night, this kind of twinkles as you approach. There's a GT badge on the back, which I think is probably making claims this car can't cash. It's 9.7 seconds to 100 from this 1.2 litre 3-cylinder engine. Not quite what I'd call setting the world on fire. Nonetheless, the electric release is just under that little ledge, and the back is a decent size, though there's no spare tyre. All Peugeot 308s have repair kits. It's at this juncture I'd normally get in, but I've got a bum knee. I'm going to show you how much room is between the back of the front seat and the front of the back seat. That much. Not much more on the other side. Now, admittedly, I've got the easy access feature activated, which means the front seat electrically slides back, but I still wouldn't want to be in the back. And apart from a couple of the other little misdemeanors like that pretty awful back seat space, there's a spot here that sticks out on the dash, and you can see that I'm not the first person whose knees hit it on the way in. The 3D dash is quite clever. It's really just another LCD reflecting down on the top, but the effect is amazing. And there are 3 drive modes, and each changes the color of the screen. Red for sport, and all the buttons go red. And a light green for eco, which is just really a horrible colour. The normal colour is much nicer. This has wireless Apple CarPlay, and the dash and the centre screen are configurable by the user. There's a pad here for Qi charging, and I do like the fact that there's not a huge gear lever taking up vast amounts of space. Just want to have a few words about the 8-speed automatic. It feels very much like one of those double clutch automatics. The changes are unbelievably quick. One thing I've never been able to complain about with Peugeot is the handling. Even the base models have astonishing grip and road handling. As I've already mentioned, the 0 to 100 in this car is not really going to set the world on fire. Put it in sport. Okay. Still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. My foot is flat to the floor. So, as I say, it's not going to set the world on fire. The ride is absolutely beautiful. And you can hear we're in a tunnel, and tunnels are normally the places where the sound gets much worse. The atmosphere is calm and cool, and you can see at the sides the mood lighting is in red. And I like that it's themed to the rest of the lighting. You might notice I'm looking over the steering wheel at the instruments. That's Peugeot's iCockpit. I'm still not sold on it. I would just rather a normal size steering wheel with a normal dashboard and perhaps a heads-up display, because I just want to look up here to get my speed and so forth. One thing I like is the focal sound system. It's very, very good. Press and hold the down button and it'll mute it. so you don't have to bother turning the radio right down if something interesting happens in your journey. I've got tons of USB outlets. I've got a 12-volt outlet from my Navman dashcam. I mean, of course I'd like more power, and the plug-in hybrid does have more power. It's got a 130 kilowatt or 132 kilowatt petrol engine and an 81 kilowatt electric motor. But the way it's set up, it combines for 186 kilowatts. But it's $65,000, and I don't think they're going to sell any of them. And the other thing I like is that there is an inbuilt voice function. Hey Peugeot, temperature 18 degrees. And it's made the air conditioning temperature 18 degrees. And now you can see that we're just cruising along on the highway, we're doing 76. And this is where you'd turn on your highway assist features, the auto steering, the auto cruise control with a very smart function, Q control. It does have a peculiar brake hold function. You've got to press a button on the dash every time you come to a stop, and we'll see that in a minute. I've done about 300 kilometers this week. Now, if I touch the stalk, it's 6.7 on 315 kilometers. They do promise a little better, but the problem with all of these things is that when you do those tests, they're done under lab conditions, and we don't drive under lab conditions. I did a 200 kilometer round trip to one of the nearby towns just to see what this was like in tight bends and on the freeway. And honestly, it was so relaxing. Oh, that's the other thing. Down here in the middle, there's a little graphic of the car. And when I put the brakes on, that brake light comes on. It is a little bit slow, a second or so. But also in that display is my temperature, things like RPMs, speed in both analog and digital form, which I really like. I think it's clever to have done a digital screen, although it's not a full digital screen. If you look really carefully, you can see the side bits are just kind of lit from behind. Now this does have speed limit as well. And when you come to a halt, it asks you if you want to activate the brake hold feature. I don't know, I think I'd rather just have it do it on its own. You can turn it on or off as you like. Now, the other interesting thing is, this is telling me there's 470 kilometers to empty based on my driving style. So I've got a little over half a tank. This is suggesting that my range on the highway would be something like 900 kilometers. And that was one of the reasons that we all used to get diesel cars. And one of the reasons also that now petrol engines have become so efficient that they no longer have the need for a diesel engine. Which is just as well, because no one was able to make a diesel engine that wasn't filthy, despite what they claimed. It's why they cheated. So to wrap up, engine, I wouldn't give the engine top marks, simply because 96 kilowatts it's just not sufficient. Transmission, fabulous, especially in sport mode, though as I said, it can be a little dim-witted at low speed, but the changes are spectacular. The headlights come in for a special mention. They're absolutely astounding. It's like daylight. I don't know how many lumens they are, but there's a lot of them. Suspension is absolutely brilliant. It's exactly what I'd expect of Peugeot. Ride, lovely and compliant. Equipment, absolutely brilliant. It's stuffed full of all the driver and safety aids. It's got blind spot monitor and auto steering and all of that sort of stuff. Can't fault it there. Peugeot's gone premium, and there's no doubting that it has premium features. I'm not quite sure it's worth that price, almost $50,000, there's a lot of other cars that you could get for that price that have more power. And if you go to a Chinese car, you can even get an electric one. Anyway, as always, sorry about the noise. It's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from Peugeot, so hit like, leave a comment, and just there to subscribe.